afternoon, or whenever you're seeing this. We got to get you ready for your guys' test tomorrow. So I'm going to give you guys the answers to the review, the practice test. So um, just have your answers ready. Follow along through here. The ones that you missed, obviously, you don't have to stop and watch all of them if you got them right. Just kind of skip through here to the ones that you missed, and hopefully you can fix your mistakes. Or if you still don't understand something, please ask me. Because the test is tomorrow. Here we go. Multiplication. Multiply straight across the top. 12 straight across the bottom. 96. After you get 12 over 96, it's going to be simplified. Go close by 12. Yeah. 1/8. More. Number 2, we got to divide, which means to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to take 3/10 and not divide it by 2/5, but multiply by 5/2. 15 over 20. The greatest common factor between these two is 5. So I can divide them both by 5 to simplify this down. And 3/4. 5/20 is divided by 5/4. Dividing fractions, so we can multiply by the reciprocal, so that's 5/20 times 5/4. 5 times 5 is 25, 24 is 80. And the greatest common factor here is 5 again. This is 3/16. Oh, sorry, 5/16. The next one's multiplication problem. 97 8/3, just multiply straight across. Or we can cross simplify first, for those of you that remember how to do this. Um, any numbers that are across from each other in a multiplication problem can be reduced down at the beginning of the problem. So these two 8s here can be simplified down like a regular fraction. So both of them can be divided by 8 to be reduced down to 1. And both 9 and 3 have a common factor of 3, so they can be divided by 3. So you divide by 3 is 1, and then divide by 3 is 3. So if you do that first, you'll get your answer in this case. 3 over 1 is 3. If you multiply through, then we got 72 over 24. And then you could have simplified them down by this. You divided it by 24, or a couple other numbers. You still would have got 3 over 1, which is 73. Number 5, we got some mixed numbers here. We have to multiply together, so we have to turn them into improper fractions first, and then just multiply like normal. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25. Here's this fraction. So that would be 25 sixths, and place of 4 and 6. And then multiplying that by 2 and 2/5, so 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. And then we can multiply them. I'm going to go ahead and simplify first. Make this a little bit easier on myself. 25 and 5 can be divided by 5. 5 and 1. And these two can be divided by 6. That 1 and that 2. And that puts 10 over 1, which is 10. Fill up a container with 2 1/3 gallons of water. Bucky filled up a bucket with water 1 1/8 times that much. How much water was in Bucky's bucket? Well, if Bucky filled his bucket with 1 times the amount of water that Phil did, then it would have been the same, right? Because anything times 1 is itself. So if he filled it with 1 times, it would be the same. But he filled it with 1 1/8 times, which is greater than 1, which means he filled it up with more water than Phil did. So the answer we already know is going to be more than what Phil put in his bucket. And this is going to be a multiplication problem because keyword here, 1 1/8 times as much. So let's multiply these together. But first I'm going to turn them into improper fractions. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. 2 1/3 is 6 7/3 times 1 1/8, which would be 8 plus 1 is 9/8. And then I'm going to multiply across 3, 4. And this needs to be divided. It also needs to be simplified as well. I'm going to do that first. Maybe save myself some time. Divide by 3 here. This would be 21 over 8. And then since this is an improper fraction, we got to divide it to figure out what it will be as a mixed number, which would be 2 and 5/8, which we already decided it needs to be more than Phil's, which that looks like it's more than Phil's. And it's the answer we got here. So let's go with 2 and 5/8. Let's see a reasonable answer. Number 7, Jenny brewed 12.5 liters of tea for the weekend fundraiser. If each mug can hold a fourth of a liter, how many mugs of tea can she sell this weekend? And this is a classic division problem because we're trying to figure out how many times she can pour out of this tea container into these mugs. You're dividing up the tea into the mugs, and you're going to get a big answer here. So you'll figure out how many mugs that is. This is a classic division problem. It'll be 12 and a half divided by a fourth. A couple things going on here. First thing is we have a mixed number. Let's turn it into a proper fraction. Multiply 2 times 12 is 24 plus 1 is 25. So it's 25 halves for 12 and a half. And instead of dividing by a fourth, we're going to multiply by 4 over 1. Because that's how you divide fractions. You multiply by the reciprocal. Divide these by 2 to do a simplification first. And we get 50 over 1, which is just 50, which seems like a reasonable answer. She could fill up 50 mugs with a bunch of tea. Next one, number 8. We need to divide these mixed numbers, which means we need to turn them into proper fractions first. So 15 plus 3 is 18. This, for that one. Divided by 10 times 2 is 20 plus 4 is 24 tenths. And in order to divide these, I have to multiply by the reciprocal. So flip and then multiply. I'm actually going to simplify first here. Again, makes it a little bit easier on me, but you do not have to do this. But cross numbers can go ahead and be reduced. So 5 and 10 can be divided by 5. 18 and 24 be divided by 2, divided by 6. Now let's go ahead and divide that by 6. 3, 4. So 3 times 2 is 6, and 1 times 4 is 4. So cross simplifying helps us get there to this simplified version quicker. So we're not dealing with really big numbers. So this needs to be divided, obviously, because it's improper. 4 goes into 6. 1 time with 2 left over, so 1 and 2/4, which is equivalent to 1 and 1/2, because these can be divided by 2. So and then our last one here, number 9, divide, simplify, convert. This is 2 improper fractions to be multiplied together or divided. So we need to multiply by the reciprocal in order to carry out our division. And before we do that, actually, I won't simplify first on this one. For those of you who don't like that, this is 45 over 75. And then we can divide it down. I believe we can start with 5 here. that's 9 over 15, which can still be simplified because both 9 and 15 have a common factor of 3, which gives 9 divided by 3 is 3, 15 divided by 3 is 5, so we should get an answer of 3 because there's your practice test. Hopefully you guys are ready for that for tomorrow.